The Boston Red Sox have made another big move this offseason, signing free agent Alex Bregman to a 3-year, $120 million contract. In this video, I'm going to be reacting to the Bregman signing, what it means for the Red Sox, and what it means for the Astros, who lose yet another core player of their team. If you like this video, going over the latest breaking news in baseball, not just having to deal with the New York Mets, make sure to hit the like button out of the ballpark. It allows us to get around the YouTube algorithm robot and helps more people be able to find the videos. Slide to the comment section. What are your thoughts on Alex Bregman's signing and all the different things that are going on with this deal, which we'll get into? Is not a straight up 3 years, $120 million contract. And what are the moves you think Boston should make, and what should Houston do now that they lost Bregman? And if you're new here and want to make posting videos after midnight worth it, make sure to subscribe. And if you're subscribed already, I mean, you know the drill. You can make an account for your favorite pair of socks. They could be red, they could be gray, they could be any color. Like I said, you can make a Google account for them, subscribe to the channel. It is greatly appreciated. And it's free. Let's talk about Alex Bregman. This is a full circle moment for him when you consider that he was originally drafted by the Boston Red Sox in the 29th round in 2012, but then got drafted again by the Astros in 2015 in the first round. So he was able to get a lot more money being a first round pick compared to a 29th round selection. Now, I talked about Alex Bregman when the New York Mets were in a similar situation of a Boris client taking forever to sign, and that Alex Bregman was still available on the market. I talked about the idea of the Mets potentially signing him and moving Mark Vientos to first base so that Brett Beatty didn't have to play. But my criticism of Bregman is that I see a player that has declined quite a bit, especially from his peak in 2019, where he was a guy that was a 9-win player, OPS over 1,000. And you look at his numbers lately, he just is not that same guy anymore. And what's most concerning to me is that as I'm looking at his OPS from 2022 to 2024, it is dropping each season. In 2022 it was 820, then it moved down to 804, and then this past season he was at 768, and that was because of his on-base percentage dropping from 363 to 315. And with Bregman being 30, I don't really see things turning around. If anything, it's more likely that they continue to decline. Now, he is going to be going to Fenway Park, which that could help him out with the kind of hitter he is. Having the green monster out there for him, that definitely could be an advantage for him to use. But I'm just very curious with the way this contract is structured, because it is 3 years, $120 million, but there is deferred money. Now, we don't have the exact details yet on what that means and how it's deferred and when it's deferred, but there is an opt-out after every season. I do wonder how the deferrals are impacted if he opts out in the first year compared to opting out in the second year. And it would be pretty crazy if something happened where Alex Bregman has this great season with Boston, opts out, and then they re-sign him and maybe give him deferred money again, so he has 2 different deferral payments. The Dodgers have that with Teoscar Hernandez, but the Dodgers just do whatever they want. They're just in a completely different stratosphere from everyone else. They do crazy contracts, whatever they want, however much deferred money they want. A topic for another video. Now, Boston already has a really good farm system. That's how they're able to land Garrett Crochet this offseason. Another interesting thing about Bregman is that he had a 6-year, $170 million offer on the table, and he decided to decline it because he felt like, you know what, I'm getting 120 for 3 years. I could definitely make up that lost money in a shorter amount of time. So he made the right decision. Boston is not locked into this deal long term yet. I'm very curious to see if he opts out either season and then what they might decide to do there. Boston has another high-paid infielder in there with Trevor Story as well, so they definitely have a lot of money committed to their infield right now. But one of the main reasons why Boston is able to do this is because of how much they're paying for their rotation, which really is not much at all considering how talented it is. You have Garrett Crochet, who still has not signed the big extension that he was clamoring for, why he didn't want to get moved at the deadline, because he's like, oh, I'm going to go in the bullpen if no one gives me a big extension. Boston hasn't done that yet. You have an all-star in Tanner Houck not getting paid all-star money. You have Lucas Giolito, you're hoping is a big bounce-back candidate, was hurt last year. You got Brian Bayo, who's a nice young pitcher. You have Cutter Crawford, a nice young pitcher. You also add Walker Buehler, hoping for another bounce-back candidate, someone who was good a few years ago, but he's had a lot of injuries. And then you go one step further in the bullpen, another potential bounce-back candidate, Liam Hendricks. Aroldis Chapman, he still has velocity, but is not the player he once was. So because of how Boston has used their money elsewhere, it allows them to make these big contracts to these other star infielders. And again, because they have this nice farm system, they can continue to add to it and become an even better team. And it's just very nice to see more teams being aggressive and trying their best to be competitive, because we see a whole lot of other teams in baseball that are not doing that right now and really don't take the steps it takes to become a better team. So great job, Red Sox. On the Houston side, now that you've lost Bregman, you already know you lost Correa, you lost Springer, you You trade away Kyle Tucker this offseason, so you're really left with Jose Altuve and Yordan Alvarez. I'm very curious to see what Houston does now. I mean, they got their championships out of it. The way they got it, I don't agree with it. But it was just one of those situations where they tanked for many years to get these really good players, and then really good players get really good contracts, so they couldn't pay them all. And now Houston has to decide what they're going to do, because now they're in a position where if they're not going to be spending money to retain the guys they got, and if they're not going to be tanking to get more young star players, how are they going to get better and get back to the World Series? Yes, they do have a very nice young rotation and just have a bunch of arms all the time, but that's only going to get you so far. So I'm curious to see how Houston addresses this and if they're going to do anything else. But now that Alex Bregman has signed, we have all of the big free agents off the board finally. This means that we are ready for spring training to start. We're ready for the regular season to start. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, let me know what you thought about the Bregman deal and what other videos you want to see from me in the future. There should be a video from me on Saturday, and then as always, there are Mets weekly streams, which mostly talks about the Mets. Maybe we'll talk about Bregman a little bit there as well, but those are every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Have a great day, and let's go Mets and Red Sox. Great job, Boston, because Mets fans and Red Sox fans are best friends because we both don't like the Yankees. And the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So good job, friends. Now, according to Jeff Pass of ESPN, the expectation is that Bregman's going to be playing second base for Boston, which he has not played since 2017, where he only played in 4 games. They have top prospect Christian Campbell on the way, but they really want to get this Bregman deal done, basically paying him $40 million a year, even though there are deferrals. So that was just me adding this onto editing after midnight because I was about to post the video and then this report came out and I had to delete some other parts. So again, if you could like the video, subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated because now my camera is acting up, bouncing all over the place.